Morning. A very exciting morning here in Sydney because this is Elite Crazyhouse Arena number 53. And this means today is the 1 year anniversary of the Elite Crazyhouse Arena. So big congratulations and thank you very much to the Finisher who's organizing these events. We are starting in about 2 minutes and it is just enough time to follow Magnus for a little bit because he was leading by about 2 points in the titled arena for July. Just quickly jumping to the standings. He has just been overtaken, it seems, by Ali Reza. No, they're on equal points, 155. So a very exciting finish in the titled arena. It's got about 1 minute to go. So Magnus taking black in this position. 1-0 is way too fast even for me to count the pieces, but I'll just attempt to wake up and drink some coffee and you can enjoy the match. So we see a very interesting piece sack on g6 from Zhigalko. Seems like material's equal, but Magnus has made some room for his king on f8. Doesn't look like he's going to be mated, so this game, if Magnus survives the attack, looks like it will be decided on time. But Faruja was on a huge streak, so if he wins his last game, he might sneak ahead of Magnus. Looks like Magnus will take this. What does that leave the standings as? With 30 seconds to go, because Ali Reza was on a streak, you can see this, he's only lost one game in the last 15 or so. He's overtaken Magnus. I'm not sure whether this is the first time he's won the titled arena, but looks
10,
like Magnus won't be playing any more games.
9,
so
8,
congratulations,
7,
Faruja.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 0.
Hearing a countdown in the background, so the Elite Arena is starting. Am I going to get a game or I have to wait? Here we go. Alright, good luck everyone. Who do we have? Got about 17 players so far. Let's go straight to the games. I'm going to try to play fast in the opening and not babble on too much nonsense in the opening. Vectorveld. Alright, we have a symmetrical e4, e5. I'm going to go h6, bishop g4. And I'm not sure. Oh, king h1. Okay. So I'm gonna play knight b4. Looks like a bit of a strange move. I mean, obviously I'm trying to stop knight d5, so a3 is the obvious move, but one intention is to sack the knight on c2 and then possibly follow up with taking on f3, or maybe putting the pawn on f4 just to block out some of white's minor pieces. Okay, rook c1. Now, c6 is an idea, or g5. g5, you always have to be careful, of course, of knight takes. Take the queen. Now, he hasn't played knight d5, so I don't think the king is under too much danger after g5. I'm going to go with g5. Knight takes, bishop takes queen. This is the idea. Yeah, you can go knight takes f7, but I'm not sure whether he's going to get enough pieces. It's the difference whether the king is better placed on h1 in these lines where he's sacking the queen. I'm not quite sure, but at least he doesn't have an immediate knight d5. Alright, he's going for it. Alright, are we going to see knight f7 or maybe just take the bishop back? So the king has stepped out of the line of the c5 bishop. So I would assume I should just take this, or queen e7 is another move. I could let him steal all my pawns. I'm just going to take it, I think. If he goes bishop f7, oh no. Now normally I would step away to h8. Could also consider blocking with d5. No, I'm going to go king h8. Got to make sure f6 is guarded. I usually put a queen on g7 in this sort of position if he takes with the pawn, for instance. Bishop, okay, is there any immediate threat? There's a threat on h7. So queen g7, there's no attack along the g file though. This is one slight problem. But yeah, something does have to be done. Any other ideas? What about knight at g5? Because yeah, this is incoming. Knight at g5. I don't like weakening the h6 square too much, so I might end up sacking a queen back, but at least the king is safe for now. Let's get rid of these arrows. Yeah, maybe g5 wasn't the best move. Because I don't have a lot of attack going on here. So some ideas here to stop knight at h5 after the trade here. Also slight pressure on g2, maybe knight takes c2, pawn at h3 is some sort of plan. Alright, I'm going to get a bit of a move on here. Knight takes pawn. I do need a pawn. The attack is going to go nowhere without a pawn. Alright, so I've got two queens on g7. That's very useful. I probably should let him take, actually. This isn't looking so good. Yeah, I'm going to run into trouble on h7. Alright, take two. Computer just had an unfortunate crash. Just trying to make sure everything's working. Yeah, so welcome back to the Elite Crazyhouse Arena. Let's try not to crash the computer this time. And it seems like my opponent in the last round played bishop at f3. That was the last move, which I didn't see at all. Maybe bishop d3. And I thought he should have just taken the queen on g7, but anyway, that's too late to fix. Too late to worry about now. Okay, Yuri Kastrov, second game. Normally I'm happy when the opponent plays c6 because it weakens a few squares, but here probably just back off back to e2. At least he can't play pawn on h3, so I can safely castle. Probably just leave the knight on e5 for now. Right, and start disrupting something saying stream offline, but doesn't appear to be offline. Yeah. Let's stop worrying about that. So bishop takes rook. Pawn at g7. Maybe I should harass this knight. No. Maybe knight g4. Yeah, go knight g4. I got enough defenders on. Do a few trades. It looks like trades are good for white here because I have the slightly exposed king. Alright, so got to do this on my terms. I don't really want to take yet. Maybe pawn at e5. Yeah. Yeah, it says in my chat program the stream's offline, but if anyone's listening, if they can send a message in chat so I can see that it's working. Otherwise, I'm going to be confused why the the stream appears online, but then one program saying it's working, another one's not. Bishop g6, right. Probably take here then. Stick the pawn back on e5. I guess he might trade the knight first. No? Okay. Interesting. I'm not really making the most out of these trades. I need to trade more and more. Knight at g7. Yeah, let's try to hunt down this rook on e7. Where's the rook going? Maybe it's going back to f8. Aha, okay. Not sure if I should take that or not. Bishop h6. I need another target. Alright, gonna go for it. And I'm gonna follow it up with knight at g4. I'm trying to hit these two places at once. So I guess something could appear on g5. Yep. Now, how do we do this? Knight takes here. Yeah, I don't know whether this is really... he's sacking the queen, right. So now I've got to get in quickly on the dark squares before he builds up a fortress. I'm just going to sack the knight. The knight wasn't going to do much else anyway there. Would like a knight for e7, perhaps. Okay, he might be giving me a knight for e7. Yeah, can I take that? Maybe I should just do something with a light square bishop instead. Very useful to defend g4 here, I think. Right, so take there. I guess he's going to go knight takes, yep. How do we do this? It's got a lot of defenders around the king. Maybe even queen g4. I don't like this now. It's just even if I get rid of the knight, I'm still going to have to spend 2 tempi. I mean, queen takes f5, I don't think it's good enough here. Bishop takes knight at e7, no, not good enough. So it means I'm going to have to move the queen. Queen g4, rook at g5. Probably just have to sack the queen and take on g7. Knight h3 check, I don't think it's good enough. Yeah, bishop at f6. It's always a question here. Attack or defend? Attack or defend? Knight at g4. What am I threatening there? I think that was not such a good move. What am I threatening? Even if I take the bishop with check, so what? Ah, no, this is no good. Ah, yuck. Okay, it's not mate yet. Ah. Oh, bad. It's got too many rooks. Mm-hmm. Gotta do it. Rook takes g3. Still don't quite have a threat on h6 or g7. Oh, that's gonna be a killer. Uh-oh. Hard to say what's happening here. It's all about who gets in first. He's going to run out of bishops, though. I've got more pawns than he has bishops. So queen takes, bishop at e5. Maybe the tables are starting to turn. Bishop at e5 is the one I want. But still not sure whether this is good enough. Okay, take there. Uh-huh. Right. Get rid of that bishop. Pawn on f3, there's still no threat, right? I think. Yeah, got f2 cover, there's no smothered mates. So this is it. I think I was a bit lucky to get away with this one. Should I just take everything or keep piling up bishops? Guess it doesn't matter too much. Take that, put a bishop on f8. Come on, he's got to run out of pieces soon. Yeah, alright, that's it. Can probably pre-move this one. Come on, run out of pieces. This is an arena, so we want to get through as many games as possible. 2 games in 22 minutes is not going to be enough to come in the placings. Finally, I can pre-move this one. Alright, good game, Rikestrov. I think you had the edge for quite a while in that game. Was scrambling to defend with the minor and major pieces on g2 for a while. Okay, so who's running away with it? Clearcast is also streaming, so yeah, please go and follow Clearcast as well. He's on 8 points, so nobody's really running away with it so far. It means he's only played 4 games. So we had an unfortunate computer crash. Did I have bishop takes knight mate? Yeah, probably. Once I see a clear path to victory, I don't usually think too much. I think it's Jan Gustafsson from Chess24 had a funny quote where he says something like, paraphrasing, chess is a battle between my desire to not lose and my desire to not think. So it's always good when you can just play moves without thinking, even if you miss a mate in one. Doesn't matter too much. Because I think the strategical point was clear that he was going to run out of pieces on g7 eventually. It's kind of funny when you got pawns and your opponent has bishops and rooks and you're just trading pawns for pieces. Okay, why haven't I got paired yet? We've got two windows open. So this event was just following the titled arena taken out by Ferrugia, who had an amazing streak at the end. And sometimes this event follows, sorry, not follows, but is on a Saturday instead. But the finisher kindly asked me if we'd make it 7 AM on a Sunday morning, so it's not too early for me. Now we have a new opening. Not quite sure whether to take that or not. But then what do I do with the knight? Knight g4. No, I'm dropping d5. There's no need to drop d5 for nothing. Maybe just bishop. Could also go bishop g4. That's. Just play sensibly. Bishop f5. Now, do I throw an a6 if he goes e3? Okay, what is he doing? My first thought was to ignore this and go bishop d6. Yep, might do that. Since the bishop on f4 is unprotected, I don't mind trading two pieces for a queen. He doesn't allow, of course. So knight at b4, perhaps? Rook c1, then... ho-hum. c5. Or do I just take this? Probably just take this. Okay, pawn takes, knight e4. Feels a little bit loose with the pawn on c6. Okay, so he's not going after that. Knight at f5. I really don't want a castle. He's got a very tempting choice whether to try and highlight the weakness on c6 or just go for the dark squares, putting something on f6. I guess he's thinking whether to put the bishop there straight away or maybe bishop at g5. With only one bishop in hand, I'm hoping to survive this somehow, but I'm not going to have a lot of options if he puts a bishop on straight away. Alright. I'm even considering king d7, but no, we won't do that. Bishop at f6. Just don't feel like I've had a lot of options in this game. Yeah, this is getting already beyond critical. I need to cover e7 if I'm going to sack the queen. Maybe knight at f5. What is the best way to sack the queen? Just rook back and take the bishop. Pawn at f6, then maybe stick a bishop on b4. The bishop could even come all the way back to f8. It's vulnerable to a pawn drop in the future though. I'm just trying to stop the immediate danger. Like knight at f6 is worrying if I ever lose a knight. Probably should just cover this. But he's on a7 as well. I'll let him take c6. Maybe there's a knight at b4. I'm feeling like I'm missing something. I'm expecting a queen sack. Maybe even a double queen sack. No? Alright. Yeah, I don't know whether I can afford to. Maybe bishop at h4. Just trying to cover these vital squares where he's going to drop a knight on f6, maybe a knight on d6. So I think knight c2 is a bit too early. But I really wanted the bishop for a5. I guess it's not much of a threat, even if it wasn't on pre. You just drop a pawn on c3. I mean, I'm hoping he's not going to take here with two queens, because that's got to be my plan, right? To take on c2. Maybe I could drop a knight somewhere first. Maybe knight here, but what does it do? What does it do? It's looking really suspicious. Actually, he's got a mate. Oh, what? Just got to stop knight at d6. Or maybe I didn't need to that time. Yeah. Oh, he's got too many too many threats. Just got to move something. Knight takes rook. Well. Just hold out on the immediate mate. He's got so many tricky moves that he could try. Pawn at e7, for instance. But I'm up to 5 seconds. Just got to not get mated. Do the only legal move that doesn't get mated. And that's my strategy here. Alright, I don't see a mate. So that's my game plan. Just don't get mated. I still don't see a mate. Ooh, this one's a bit nasty. Just don't get mated. Is there a mate threat? I don't see it. Yeah. And... oh, that's a good one. Ah, block the rook, yes. Queen at d3. Queen at d2. Oh. How did I survive? That was a tense game. What would we say? Gone for all money. I was gone for all money there. It's just living off the increment. Yeah, I mean, you notice he had a massive time advantage as well. I think he was up a minute while I was down to the increment. I was so dead. Dead on the board, dead on time. Just try not to get mated in one. That's the secret. And to remain calm, of course. Alright, so this move I like very much. Bishop b5. The whole idea is to stop d5, which is black's best way to free himself for counter-attacking chances. Alright, how do we respond to this? Usually just ignore any threats that don't have anything to do with this diagonal, because this is quite key to make use of the knight on f5 as fast as possible. So sack on c7, put the pawn back on d6. Try to distract him before he has time to take on c3 and e4, stuff like this. Oof. Yeah, thanks guys. In the chat, there's Mixu, the finisher. Jamalo1 saying nice win. I don't know whether you call that luck or, I mean, I'm sure he must have missed a few mates. Some sort of smothered mate theme where he's sacking for the knight on a8, or I was worried about queen at f8, knight at g7 sort of ideas. Okay, queen a5. Would like to take a knight for c7. Maybe even knight takes e7 here. I could also consider knight d5. Yeah, how about that, knight d5? So of course, whether he trades or not, I'm still going to have the fork on c7, so the bishop is immune to capture. B3 check, pawn at b4 is a kind of funny trap of the queen. Remain calm and try not to get mated in one. That's it. What was I down to? Less than half a second at one stage. Now I thought Clearcast in the last game should have tried to overrun the 7th rank with pawns, like pawn at c7, pawn at b7, and I think I could have just resigned safely with a clear conscience there, because once he clears the rook out of c8, then... Oh, queen takes, I just noticed, is another option. Threatening bishop d7 check. Do I want the pawn on e5 though? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter too much. I'm just going for this sneaky trick. Alright, have I slowed down Clearcast? He's still leading on 12 points. And I'm up to a very unimpressive 4 points out of 3 games. Games all seem to be lasting about 10 minutes each. Right, how does he deal with all these threats? Bishop at b6, okay. So many options. How does he defend f7 if I can't drop a knight here or here? Well, I could, I suppose, and then... But then I'm running into stuff like bishop at f2. Gets messy. Should I just take the bishop? Yeah, be simple. I mean, I can always trade a queen if it mates. I'm now threatening knight at d6. What does that do? Don't even understand. Because now bishop d7 is again available to me. There's no knight forks on the queen. So I've just got to make sure I don't run to e2, and then he's got... I mean, I can even allow this because I've got the threat of knight at d6 check mate. So yeah, should I do king e2 just for fun? What is objectively the best move here, I wonder? King e2... no, I'm just going to go king e1. Oh! Right, knight d6. Knight at d6, how about that? Ah, queen f7. Alright, he had to run the other way, but I could at least take on f8, then repeat once. Alright, next game straight away. How do I pronounce this name? Aha Tokia. He's going for an early queen h5. Alright, g6, knight f6. Is he going to go this way? I'm going to try a new move d5. I've never played this one before, but I think it is playable. Trade here, queen takes, queen f6, avoiding the queen trade because his knight, his queen is where his knight wants to be on d5. So I'm free to harass the queen with bishop e6, rook d8, keep a safe kingside with bishop g7. And you'll notice there's no knight drops immediately to harass the queen on f6. Queen f6 I think is a good square at the moment for the black queen. So he might want to free his knight for d5, maybe move the queen back. But I guess I can always harass him with knight d4. This one, I'm going to go bishop on, attacking the knight because f3 is a little bit vulnerable here. Now, probably should have gone bishop g7 first. Yuck. The move order is not quite right here. Yeah, this is a little bit painful. So I may have to do something. Something I don't want to. Like queen e6. That is a bit disgusting. No, that's terrible. Queen e6. Bishop e6. Might have to do bishop e6. Yeah, I just forgot to move there. Yeah, I have to sack a piece with bishop e6 because I can't allow a knight to land on f6, me move the king. It's not that I'm getting mated, but he'll then take the bishop on g4 and stick it back on f6 and then at least win a rook here. I didn't think I was getting mated if I exchanged queens. Queen e6, knight at f6, king e7. But I think the problem was clearing f6 for the queen or bishop. Okay, this one I think I can live with. Queen d8, queen b7. One mismove makes a big difference, huh? How to guard b7? I can't. I want a castle, but I'm gonna have to sack the queen this way. Maybe knight at d4 and king e7. But then he can check here. I have no blockers left. So I might even have to do it this way. Oh, I can't look. I can't look at this. Knight at f6, king e7. He might sack a queen, but that's okay. Again, I'm just trying to survive, not get mated in one. Well, I have some threats of my own, some semi-threats, pseudo-threats. At least I have a pawn for d7. Oh, that's a good move, but I do have knight at d6. Is that the best I can do? I have knight at d4 if he takes here, though. Should I block with the pawn? Then knight at d4. Tough to say. Very tough to say. I mean, king d8 also looks semi-playable. I don't know. Too hard to decide. Queen b7. Yeah. Oh. King d7. King d7. Yeah. So there's no checks, that's the main thing. Queen b... Oh. I got this with check. I don't think it's quite enough. So the main threat is on c7. Like, even if I allow that, can I run... Oh no, he's got knight f6 coming. Alright, so this is my biggest concern, queen b7. And king d1, I don't have a pawn for e2, because I wasted the pawn. Maybe I should have blocked, or rather not blocked on d6 with the queen a3 check. I don't know, 7 seconds. I just got to start taking some queens. Queen f6, alright, so what is the threat? Don't quite understand. Queen g2, how about this? I could also just come back to d4. The bishops keep the king very safe. Don't really see what he has against the king at the moment. Bishop at d1. Alright, so now we're getting in. Oh no, that wasn't good. Bishop f3. Queen f3, right. Okay. Knight d4, that's okay. King... if he moves the knight, I go here. If he puts the knight, I go back to d8. Just trying to starve him of all the checks, so he has to deal with this. Put a bishop on next. Maybe even exchange on d5 if I need a knight. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. Whoa, what? So multiple threats, bishop at h4. No blockers. So this is another one where I did a miraculous escape. Feel like Houdini today. Jamallo. Mixer says, have you tried the keyboard shortcuts? I heard about them. I just find that I'm going to get into a tangle with the mouse and the keyboard. You might notice I'm not very good at multitasking. But I will try them when I'm not so rushed. Like, if I miss a mate in one, how about that? I'll try the keyboard shortcuts. I mean, if I've got a bit of time to burn and I can do, a mate in 5 instead of a mate in 1, for instance, I'll try the keyboard shortcuts. Okay, I think here we'll sack on f7, stick a pawn back on e6. And just trade as many pieces as possible, get rid of that bishop. Right. So, I'm not sure what the move is here, but sacked a piece to draw the king out to e6 is usually good. Bishop at b3 is certainly an option. Could just harass the knight with either bishop f4 or pawn at f4. Let's go with the bishop. Oh man, if he lets me exchange queens, of course that's an added bonus. Master Tan join. Yeah, it's usually a good time for Master Tan. He says if the tournament can be delayed till 7 AM Sydney time, then he's on the same time in Melbourne. Then he'll join when he wakes up. So we've still got an hour and 13 minutes to go. Jamalo says, Yeah, I forgot about those keyboard shortcuts. I wonder how it affects the speed. I guess the thing is really if you're good at multitasking or not. I think that saves me a tempo. Because if you're good with the keyboard and the mouse, then I'm sure it will save you some time. Now, what's going on here? He's letting me trade queens. Surely I should just take this. The cursor should change when you hold the key down. What? He doesn't have knight at g4? What is going on? I'm very confused. Okay, let's try it. I've got 2 minutes. Ah, he's avoiding a queen trade. It's kind of a desperate way to do it though. Bishop g3. So knight at g4, take. Okay, so 3 should be a bishop, right? If I hold down 3. Ah, I see. Ah, he didn't let me do it. I was going to drop a bishop on f5. Okay, so what are we up to? I've taken the lead. Well, equal lead, 16 points. So I noticed the cursor changed to that piece, which is the bishop now. Is all you have to do let go of the number? Like if I let go of the 3 while the mouse was over f5, would that have dropped the piece? Is that the way it works? You just have to type and then let go. As long as the move isn't illegal, of course. Alright, nice rating, Maximus Carlton, 2222. So Mixu's saying, yeah, just hold the 3 and... Oh, you have to click on the F5, not just let go of the number. So letting go of the number will just release the drop, I guess. So click on the F5 square, so it's keyboard and mouse together. Alright, I'll try it sometime when I feel comfortable. How about that? Alright, back to something we know a little bit better. So the first game against Vectorveld was something like this, but he threw in this little sneaky king h1 move, which is actually to white's advantage. Mix is saying, yeah, it doesn't do anything if you just release the key. Knight takes, bishop takes. We have a very exciting line with probably knight takes f7. So this one highlights the fact that the king is still on g1. And I do believe he has to take with the bishop because rook takes, queen at e1 check is just too dangerous. So how does that go? Rook takes, queen at e1, bishop drops on f1. Okay, so take back the knight. Okay. So this isn't too worrying, I think. These pieces will keep me very well covered. On the king side, he doesn't have a queen to drop. Takes him at least a couple of tempi to get anything going on the king side. Okay, some very tempting options, including pawn at e2, knight at h3, pawn takes. I'm going to go knight at h3 because if he takes, it's a mate in 3 with knight here, pawn here, queen f3. So he has to play king h1. Now is pawn at f3 good enough there? I mean, there's lots of other moves like queen takes f2, but then I'm worried about an intermediate check here. May not be good enough. So my theory is, or you could say general principle is, if he has to play king h1, I think it's mate in 3. And I even have a queen to spare in hand. If he has to play king h1, then pawn at e2 is usually very strong. Okay, here we go. Oh no, I can drop a queen. Okay, so 5, and then drop. Yes, of course I could have moved the queen to f3, but there we go. My first keyboard drop is a checkmate. Have I got the white pieces this time? Yeah, I was black. It was a d4, d5 line last time. So this move kind of discourages d5 with the pawn sack. So in these lines, I think I'm trying to make a6 into a waste of a tempo. So here I think white should just develop normally and castle and not do anything too fancy once black has played a6. Could take a knight g5. I could just go bishop d2. So usually when he hasn't moved the bishop from f8, there's no immediate target, so I'll just play it safe. Bishop d2. Castle, unless there's a better move, maybe rook b1 I could throw in. Maybe he's waiting for castle so he can play take. I'm going to throw in rook b1. It just stops any bishop at b2 later on when he does the trade. So the knight does cover this diagonal, which is important if he does want to develop the bishop from f8. Because then he can, if he chooses to answer knight at h5 with rook g8, and then every bughouse player knows it's important to keep this diagonal closed. So I'm not sure whether that rook b1 move is really important or not. It was a subtlety, but sometimes subtleties, if they're not that well thought out, can just be a waste of time. Okay, so it's either bishop e2 or could I play something more aggressive like knight at h5 or knight at g5? I mean, he's got a lot of defenders on e7, so I should probably just move the bishop back. And again, nothing fancy. If you watch my games, you'll probably notice I always look for the fancy move first and look for normal moves secondary. So I'm guessing knight at h4. How can I just ignore that and get on with the attack? Knight at h5, I guess? Yeah, I mean, he's making me react to his moves, which is what he wants. So bishop on c3 is unprotected. But at least here the pawn on d4 is guarded twice, so the bishop in hand doesn't really do that much. Knight at h5, it's a good time because he doesn't have any kind of trick with bishop at f3, cutting off the diagonal because he doesn't have any other attackers on the knight. Knight at f6 is a typical idea, but oh, this is interesting. What is going on? Knight takes g7 is probably a bit too ambitious. It's either knight at g3 or knight at f6. He'll take one square king d8. So I'm going to have to cover this anyway. I might as well just do it now that it comes with tempo, or sort of a tempo, not really. Martinols sounds like a Dutch name. Clearcast, of course, is Dutch. He says Mugwort versus Clearcast should be a match of its own. So this is our second game. I somehow got away with the first one. Castles, what other move is there? Of course, he's going for bishop at e3. I think I just have to allow it. Knight at e4 maybe, but knight at e4 take king f2, bishop at e3, king f1. Trying to trap the queen, but is it necessary? Should I just castle? Maybe king h1. Rook f2, bishop e3, queen f1, take, pawn e3, but then he's putting the rook on f2 with tempo. I think there's no need to allow this, so there's bishop at g4 as well. That was a bit of a goof. Pawn at e4. Didn't quite get this move. I thought he should have gone bishop at g4. I guess there's knight at f6 check. Just going to turn my headphones on and off because it's... what's the word when it's... he wants to take a rook. Not looping, but... the sound is kind of jumping. Okay, rook doesn't do anything at this moment, so I am going to sack a piece, of course. Why not? Alright, how safe is this king on d8? This is a real question. How safe is the king on d8? So my king feels quite safe. Oh, he's got rook at c1. Didn't notice that at first. Time. Pawn at f4 cuts out rook at c1 at least. Alright, where's he going with the queen? There. Okay, d5. We'd like to open up this d file. I need a rook for e8. How am I going to get a rook? Without weakening the back rank too much. I mean, I can try queen somewhere, g4, but I feel like it's exposing the back rank too much. Maybe even push d6? Or is it better just to take something? Hard to say. Hard to say. Oh no, he's letting me do this. It's not mate. Oh, hang on. Queen d6, take, pawn takes. Yes. We're going to end with a queen sack. Oh, because the bishop on c3. Of course, pawn at d6 was also possible, but you know, where you can sack a queen, you have to sack a queen. All right, Andre Timer, e4. Best of 50, says Martinols. I don't think we're quite going to get 50 games in 3+2 arena. Alright, haven't had one of these in a while. Queen e2 check. So we're about halfway done. The only game I've lost is the first one, and I'm sure I was much worse in the final position when the computer froze. Hang on, pawn. Yeah, I'm going to go d4. I'm expecting bishop somewhere here. I'll play bishop e3 to cover d4. So my biggest weakness is on d4. And if he gets to drop a knight, I've got to be careful on g2 as well. So the whole idea of this opening is... I'm just thinking whether to castle a knight at f4. Probably knight at f4. I was going to say the whole point is to make him drop a pawn on e6 to kind of turn it into a French defense with the bishop restricted on c8. Because if he blocks the check another way, there's moves like pawn at h6, which can be extremely annoying. Alright, knight at g5. Where's the queen going, I guess? Alright, let's just think about this. The knight on g5 isn't posing a threat if I move the queen back, but is it too annoying to allow take knight at h4, for instance? But I've got g2 covered. I'm just considering queen g3, knight e4, but I have g7, so... Oh no, idiot. I'm an idiot, I forgot about knight at e4. But here, I'm going to do a very fancy move in castle. So this was not a mouse slip. It's pretty hard to pretend that this is a mouse slip because you don't normally touch your king when your queen is on pre, but so what do I have for the queen? I have one minor piece, a bishop, but more importantly, I have a raging attack on the E and F files. A very safe king. I have right, take 3. It's 2 computer crashes. At that time I had to resort to going back to the iPhone. I have a backup iPhone in case my computer crashes, so at least I can try to finish the game. I lost on time in a maybe a suspicious position at the end. It was a bit hard to defend G1. Yeah, it's a bit disturbing though, having to log in on the iPhone and remember my password, which is usually saved on the desktop. Where are we up to? So let's open up another window with the arena. Alright, we've still got 48 minutes to go. We're back. Now Sharkmaster. He plays pretty safe openings with bishop e3 usually. So this might be a long game. Alright, bishop at b6, bishop f2 I guess, knight g4. Okay, so do we go d6 or do we just immediately... I'm going to take this time. I think I delayed it last time I played him. And bishop at b6 of course is the idea. So he'll get 2 pieces for the queen. Slight weakness on f7. Alright, bishop at f2. Any other moves apart from taking the queen? Pawn at f4. I don't see why I shouldn't just take the queen and stick the pawn back on. And there's maybe other moves like d5, bishop takes, pawn at h3. Is that too ambitious? It does help me open up the bishop on c8 quickly. It's either that or pawn at f4. I'm going to go d5 because I'm worried he's going to start dropping pieces like bishop at h4 with a gain of tempo. Pawn at h3, take. He might even stick a bishop back on h1, but I don't mind. Okay, so he's blocking out my bishop. That's pretty sensible. Okay, so why aren't I taking g2? There's also queen at e2, which is interesting. I'm looking at bishop f2. Yeah, I'm gonna go queen e2 because it just means his pieces are slightly more vulnerable, like pretty much all the pieces here. So when I take on g2, there's more threats. I mean, taking on g2, I guess, was fine. I'm even looking at sacking a queen back and then bishop f5, stuff like this to gain some more ammo, some more pieces in hand. That's what I was looking at. So now I'm looking at queen takes bishop with a very sneaky idea in mind. So he's probably expecting bishop f5 as the idea, but it's more sinister than that. So 2 computer crashes in 1 hour. Maybe it's got something to do with the data being... what's this? That's a nice move. Covering e2 is the key square. Huh. Yeah, I did not expect this one. So, what are we going to do here? Queen takes, pawn takes. Can't do anything with the queen on d5 anymore. Probably should just take this one. So this is the queen I want to keep now. I'm hoping he'll take d5. That's a fork. That is a fork, yes. It's quite funny when you have one queen on pre and then the best move is not to take it, but fork 2 queens at once. Yeah, so very nice play from Schackmeister. He's leaving the queen that's useless on the board. I think I should take here. How to follow it up? Maybe bishop takes f5, double queen sack. How about this? I don't know. There's other moves like bishop at h3. Of course I could just be boring and save the queen, but let's not do that. So one idea is pawn at g2, but there's a better idea. See if anyone can spot it in the chat. So the queen is immune to capture. So I've got e7 covered, there's no fork there. There's moves like knight at h6, I suppose. Could I respond with king h8? I'm really trying to tempt him to take the queen in that case. He could defend with pawn at g2. Then I'm really considering bishop f5. Mixu, are you being sarcastic? He says he doesn't see it. The threat was rook at h1. I really need a knight in hand. Queen d6, maybe. Pawn at g2. Take, take. I'm going to go pawn at g2. And the obvious move. Queen d6 maybe just too slow. Okay. Now I'm going to go sack crazy. Do I have enough ammo? Let's see. Pawn at h3. Scary. But he might just be getting away. Alright, we're going to find out. One knight in hand, that's important to see. I'm going to drop... Oh, what? I have a knight to drop too. But that doesn't do anything. I can't believe this is happening. I should have taken on d3 perhaps, because I need a pawn. Can't believe this is happening. I got... Oh, rook at h2. What? He's missed rook at h2. He thought I was going to take back on g7, but... Rook to h2, I mean. It's fast and furious. Let's play. Clearcast again. Now, the last opening was an absolute disaster. I need to think... How am I going to avoid knight e5? Maybe I should play knight e4 here. Let's see what he does. I don't know. Was it so bad? Was it so bad? I've never seen this move, knight e5, so early. Bishop g2. Alright, so let's go back to a more main line, I guess. Knight e5 early again. This cannot be happening. I really want to take that knight and do something, but just not sure what that something is. Knight e4. Take. He'll have two knights in hand. But he needs a pawn for d7. So perhaps I can play knight e4 here. Bishop takes, pawn takes. It's still okay, I think. Does look a bit scary to open the d file, but he doesn't have pawn at d7. I think that's key in this position. So yeah, it was a really interesting finish there last game because I needed a pawn for g2, but I'm not sure whether the rook on g4 covered all the threats. I mean, the idea was to take back on g7 if I wasn't threatening mate another way and then put the pawn back on g2. I guess it was pretty scary for him. I'm not sure what to expect here. I mean, he hasn't played h3 noticeably. So I really want a pawn in hand for h3, but these sort of positions usually involve a lot of minor piece trades, but not much else. Could maybe stick a knight on h3 if he castles. So bishop takes, bishop takes. I don't know whether he's going to leave the rook there for me to capture or trade knights. I mean, I've got to watch out for him overrunning squares like f6. But I think seems to be going well at the moment, but yeah, I haven't seen this position before. I'm out of book on about move 6. Another idea, if he doesn't castle, maybe even sack on f2. So the main choices are knight at h3 and knight takes c3. Still deciding. And I really don't mind if he opens up the d file because again he doesn't have a pawn. So I'm going to go this way. Take with the bishop. Alright, so yeah, I guess he's worked this out. How to defend in the most resistant way, the most stubborn way. Bishop takes. Maybe. I need to get rid of this knight though, as fast as possible. Yeah, let's grab the rook and go bishop on somewhere. h6 or g5. Guess it doesn't make too much of a difference. He's got bishop check. Can I block c6? Is it too weakening? I guess I can always put the rook on because seems to be a reasonable defense, but maybe knight at a5 is bothersome. I'm going to go with c6. I just save the rook for the attack if there is ever any real attack. So of course I want to trade here and do something with it. Do I have a good square with the knight to drop? Maybe he might trade here because now there's no queen swap possible, but I do have a rook at d1 in that case. Does he want to go ultra passive with dropping something? What is this? I didn't see this coming. Whew. Alright, I mean I have to take that. What am I thinking for? I just don't quite get... Is there some pawn at c7 or knight at c7 coming? Wow. Alright, knight at c7, king f7. Just trying to stop all the checks. So he can take here. What is he threatening? What am I threatening? Interesting questions. Looking at something like bishop c5, but then knight at here, knight at d6 probably forces the bishop to trade, which I don't really want. Okay, knight at f4 is the obvious move. Knight at f4, anything better than knight at f4? He's going to get a lot of pieces in hand though. Bishop at g4? No, I don't want to play bishop at g4. Bishop at f5. Don't want to do that either. He's getting a lot of pieces in hand. It's a bit of a worry. Can I do anything better than taking here? Knight takes h3. No. Alright, this is the best I can do. 2 knights, 2 pawns. I just got to survive. I'm going to come back this way. Maybe pawn to e6. Okay. That is a good move. Bishop at d6, bishop at d3. Yeah, hard to say. I'm not liking this. He'll probably sack the rook here. Justified. No, what? Oh, this is too many pieces I'm giving him. But I have to block out the d-file. Too many pieces. Bishop at e6, king c7. I think he's going to have me on toast here. I can't allow knight f6. Alright, I'm going to try one last time, 20 minutes to go, to continue the stream, which has been disrupted 3 times so far. I don't know whether my computer's just too old or if it's a cache issue in the browser. Yeah, really not sure. The whole computer is just freezing. I have to restart the whole computer every time. Oh, I haven't joined. That would be a help. Okay, Nekipelov. Haven't played this opponent today. Nah, I don't know. I mean, it feels like the computer's just getting overloaded somehow. It's working too hard. What do I do here? H6, knight c6. Yeah, I mean, apart from that, it is pretty old. The desktop I have would be 7 or 8 years old at least. Bishop g4 or g5. I'll get g5, bishop g7. Yeah, it's pretty sad. It never used to happen at all. I mean, for the first year I was streaming. I mean, at one point I did increase the resolution and the bitrate, so maybe that's got something to do with it, but there were at least 3 or 4 streams I did where it was totally fine, no problems at all. It's gonna play knight e5. Maybe I could drop a bishop back on e8. Or if I'm not too bothered about sacking a queen, there's always g4. g4. Bishop a6 is another move you sometimes do in these sorts of positions, especially if you have a pawn, but maybe g4, give it a go. Try and get two knights for a queen, plus probing on the light squares here. I think my king is pretty safe if he goes this way. Take there first. I guess he could take back with the queen. Then bishop at g4 is coming. Aha, this I wasn't quite expecting. So of course I have a chance to save the queen. Queen d7, knight e5, queen h3. I could stick a knight on g2 and see which way he goes. Probably this way, over to c1. What other options? Yeah, I'm tempted to go bishop a6 because I don't think he has any immediate threats. Can I afford to play bishop at e2? Ah, alright. This is okay. I'm okay with this one because once the queen gets to h3, I think it's hard to kick out of this square. So he'll probably do something like king d2 eventually. Rook g1. Alright, I've got to be a bit careful on the g file. Where's his biggest target? Yeah, he's defending quite well at the moment. Maybe knight at f5. Just trying to take here and then on h2. I don't think knight at g2 is going anywhere. Rather than it's probably going backwards. Just no need to bury your own pieces like this. I'm hoping to play rook b8 at some stage. Try and make him think about how to defend b2. Now's as good a time as any before he thinks about castling the other way. So maybe I don't want to rush into this because of rook takes and then there's some potential issues on the g file. Perhaps bishop at a5. Yeah, I don't want his king to be too comfortable on d2. This knight's not doing much at the moment, especially since the knight on c3 is pinned. So where can I stick this one? Where can I stick this? Maybe h5 and then not sure what else to do with it. Knight c6, can I just do lots of trades? Don't see why not. Take that. Which way to do it? It's very tempting to play knight at a3. I think it's good because I've got rook at b1 to follow. Maybe a bit of a weakness on c2. We'll see which way he goes. Queen d1, I guess. I mean, I have some ideas to take on d3 anyway, but queen takes, maybe I don't quite have enough. Rook at b1. Rook at g2 is interesting. So now let's take this and then queen takes rook c1. Pawn at b2 is an idea. Pawn at c2, queen d2 maybe is not quite enough. I mean, I can always take another diagonal piece if I want it. I think I need to build a new computer investment fund so I can stop having these problems with the stream. Alright, so this is certainly the most direct approach. I was also considering knight takes, rook takes, sack the queen, put the rook back on g1. Something blocks, put a bishop on g2. It does allow knight e7 though. Not sure how much of a worry that would be. Yeah, I just want another pawn for b2, like if he plays this. I just want to take another pawn. Nice and easy. I could play bishop at b2, I suppose. Yeah, I mean it's good because I've got queen at c2 to follow after this trade here. Looks pretty good. Bishop c3, that doesn't get anywhere. No, so I'll just take this one. Alright, rook takes. What next? Bishop at b2. So I need an access point for the queen. Might as well clear the rook out of the way. I could take now, or queen at c2 first. Queen at c2 first. I might as well take a pawn with check. That can't be bad. Yeah. And then I got queen f1 and rook at somewhere. Pawn at c2. And what is it, 4 for rook? Yeah, that's it. Finishing it off with the keyboard drops. We're white again. Okay, do we have another Sicilian? It was a pretty hard fought game last time. Not really sure how to crack through Schachmeister's defenses any faster. So he's going for the Scheveningen. Scheveningen kind of setup. Maybe I could try and make him waste a pawn on c6. Okay, this seems more sensible. Then go back to e2. So now I'm going to hit him again with pawn at g5, knight d7, h4. I don't want to allow any captures here. So now he does not have, it's similar to the previous game, it wasn't on the stream, but he played pawn at g6. So moving this pawn to g6, that's what I mean. But still, he's got this good defensive move, stopping knight e6. So it's either f4, ultra aggressive, or bishop f4, knight g6, bishop back. F4, knight g6, f5. Take. I'm just going to do it. Can't see any immediate issues, but I could very well be mistaken. Let's go all in. I mean, I'm worried about some sack. He's going to clean up all my pawns, and maybe I have some knight at c7 at the end, but my king's going to be very exposed. Of course, this is the risky approach to playing a Sicilian. There's many ways to play. It's a bit like playing the perk in Crazyhouse with g6, bishop g7 early. There's so many different ways to play. It's a kind of opening where no one's really going to analyze it to a forced win or anything like that. Pretty much playing on general attacking principles. So pawn takes g6 kind of kills the attack, gives him the fr for free. I'd rather go this way. I don't want to trade too much too early. Yeah, but he's got bishop f4 check. This is a pain. So f6, take, queen takes. Then what does he have? Only pawns. I mean, he can't do that much damage with pawns. Does look a bit scary. What about queen g4? Yeah, but there's no real idea with this move. Well, take. Maybe I can take with the rook on h4 when he... I'm not liking any of these options so much. What was my first option? Pawn f6. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Oh, he's got knight h4 as well. And now I don't have queen g4 because I'm opening the bishop here. So he has a lot of pawns. I'm intending to play king f1. He needs a knight for g3. I've got to watch out for that. I can always bring it back to e2. Extra coverage. Maybe this one. Okay, I really got to watch out for a queen sack. Queen takes, knight there, king takes, knight takes, rook takes h1. That doesn't look too bad. pawn at g3 first. But this is allowing me to attack. Maybe without much of a threat though. A very interesting position. I'm not sure who's better. And I'm not sure why. Do I want to play bishop g6? Opening the f file, then take the rook on f8, it's an option. Damn Sharkmeister and his Sicilian, says Mixu. Yeah, I haven't found a way to, finish the game in 20 moves or less. And not without trying. Some move like bishop at g5, of course, is another idea. I know he really wants to sack the queen, but it's just not working for him. Now there's moves like pawn at h3, maybe. Okay, is there a threat? I have to decide if there's a threat. Very close to a threat. Just not quite sure. Does this move carry a threat? I'm gonna hope no, and let him sack the queen. I didn't see that at all. What am I doing? Oh, this is terrible, because he's got check. Okay, can we survive? Pawn at d2 or pawn at d3? I do have a lot of defenders on d2, and I have a rook. But I'm not actually threatening a mate yet. He's got knight at f8 defending. Oh, but then there's rook takes, knight at e7. Oh, can you play like this? What are you doing? Don't do that to me. He's really making me think. I'm going to put the rook on e1, knight here, king e2. This is the plan. No pre-moves. Queen takes I'm okay with. And there is a very nasty move which I wasn't okay with, which was pawn at e2. I'm not sure whether that was made. Oh, what's he doing? Don't do these surprise moves on me. Okay, how's he going to stop queen g7? I'm not sure. He's run out of checks. Maybe that's it. And there's some tricky deflection like knight f4, bishop takes, rook takes. Probably. Should I take this way first? Because now there's the threat of knight at f6. Oh, there's many threats. Yeah. Yeah, bad luck, Sharkmeister. I completely missed rook e1, but I didn't quite see a forced mate for you, though. Okay, how many minutes do we have left? 3 minutes. A long way behind second and first place. Due to the fact I've had, well, many computer disruptions, but also I've had long games today. Like pretty much every game is going for 6 or 7 minutes. Okay, e3. I suppose we just respond with e6. Now let's see where he wants to put the bishop. e2. Do I now commit the knight to c6, or do I just go bishop d6? Okay. Here I'm going to castle. Not quite sure what to do with this guy here just at the moment. I mean, I might as well put the bishop on. I'm guessing f3. Take knight d7. There's also knight here. Knight c6, take, put the knight back. Knight d7. I'm looking at knight d7. I just feel like I should be taking this though. for some reason. Take. There's knight e4. There's also knight back to d7. I'm allowing him bishop at h6 stuff though.